and we are the PWX AWA Tag Team Champions, Extreme Thunder, and you're listening to the Smack Raw Podcast, baby.
Hey, you guys, welcome to the Smack Raw Podcast, your wrestling recap show where we cover WWE, AEW, NXT, and pay-per-views. We do some predictions in there. We do some side stuff, maybe an interview with wrestlers. We are your hosts, Kyle filling in for Sebastian, and then Vince filling in for Kevin, oddly.
Yo, what is up? What is this, like 2 weeks in a row? Didn't we do the same thing last week?
It feels like you and I are linking up more and more lately. Yeah, we're your regular Raw guys, and then of course I will back up Rob on AEW, and Vince, of course, is the host of our NXT recaps. But we're here for a very special edition of Smackdown from Orlando's Performance Center in front of empty arena, and I gotta tell you, I'm actually really excited to go over this. It holds true. It's not a secret anymore. Whenever SmackDown is with their back against the wall and they have to put on some weird, janky show that should not work, it ends up being super entertaining. Right out the gate, before we get into our plugs, I've already tweeted this out. I already told you guys, but I'll tell the audience here. I don't know if I could in good conscience say this was the best episode of SmackDown for the year 2020, but it was definitely the most intriguing one, by all means.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. I would definitely agree with you there. I would say it's the best SmackDown we've had in a couple weeks, maybe. I can't remember the last episode of SmackDown that I sat and enjoyed almost every segment. There was only one spot of the show that I didn't like, and we'll get into it once we cover it. But other than that, everything was flawless. And kudos to Triple H, man, the MVP of the night.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, dude. Triple H, it appears that his demotion, let me check my notes here. His demotion now has him playing host, commentator, cameraman, and makeup artist. Triple H is the only man that can get demoted and get handed extra work. But before we get into the show, let's go ahead and get our cheap plugs out of the way. You guys, we are a wrestling recap podcast. You can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play Music, and Apple Podcasts. Of course, we are over here on YouTube as well. Please make sure to hit like and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that notify bell so you can always see when we're going live, like we are right now. Also live, we are on Facebook. Oh my God, what? Twitter? I'm losing it now.
Twitch,
and what's the pin? No, not Pinterest. What the hell? What's
No, I think you got them all. So it's Twitter, it's Twitch, it's YouTube, and Facebook. Those are the four main ones.
Okay, all right. If it's something else, it'll probably come to me later, anyways. But anyways, yes, if you're watching any of the streams, we have a nice new tool provided to us by Restream, which allows us to stream to multiple platforms and communicate through multiple platforms simultaneously. You can chat with us in any of those streaming services, and we'll be able to respond live on air. So make sure to go ahead, drop your questions, and we'll give you a shout out on air, man. Geez, that was a mouthful of stuff there to get through.
I feel you, man. If anybody understands trying to get all the cheap plugs out of the way, it's me and Rob, probably.
Periscope. Thank you, Kevin McCaddy. Tuning in. It's not Pinterest. It's Periscope.
Why would it be Pinterest?
I don't know, man. It's with a P. Oh, thanks. Big shout out to Kevin helping keep the show back on the rails, man. But let's go ahead and get into the show, man. The show opens up. Triple H addressing the audience, addressing us, the viewers, that, you know, the Performance Center is where all of our current WWE stars, or most of them, have gotten their start, you know, and it's where the future is being cropped. But like everything else, it has come full circle. They are now back there performing, and they're here, of course, to just entertain the audience. super touching, awesome. I love the opening. Triple H is going to be a reoccurring theme throughout this show because he really was the backbone of the episode of SmackDown. He was wonderful, man. But yeah, they toss it in to the Performance Center. Looked very nice. Like, I would be more than happy to attend a SmackDown that looked that. I'm a big fan of minimalism. I don't know about you, but I do like being a minimalist. And that SmackDown set was looking pretty, man. I liked it.
Well, to be honest, that's actually the exact same set that they had for NXT on Wednesday, minus the LED Titantron, ring post and side aprons. So minus the LED stuff on the ring, it's the exact same setup they had for NXT. So, and plus they had the fancy SmackDown lasers. But other than that, it was the same setup, and I think they're gonna have the same setup for Raw on Monday.
You think so?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. They're gonna keep the same setup. They're just gonna change it up. 205 Live is actually live right now. I took a peep at it, and it's the exact same setup. It's really cool.
Yeah, I was actually intrigued. I don't know, maybe it's the ambience, maybe it's because of something new, but I was just completely engrossed in the atmosphere of having nobody present. It seemed very much more personal with the performances, and so I'm intrigued. I don't know if it has much legs, like we would obviously want to tune in months on end in this format, but for the time, man, I'm all about it.
Right.
Opening up the show, Michael Cole, who, by the way, is fantastic when he doesn't have Vince McMahon in his ear. Let's hand it up. Like, Triple H is going to get most of the praise throughout the night. But yeah, let's give one up for Michael Cole as well, folks.
Definitely.
All right. Way to allow yourself to be the butt of many jokes, but then also just be downright entertaining throughout the show. He's joined by Triple H on commentary, who I thought was only going to be sitting there for the opening match. I thought we were going to get like many guests from Backstage coming out throughout the evening.
Right.
But it actually turns out we got Triple H for the whole event, which
let me ask you a question. Do you think that was the plan going into it, or did they call an audible based on the warm reception and how people were like enjoying Triple H on commentary, and they said, "Look, this is working, and we hit the nail on the we hit the nail on the head with something. Triple H, you're staying on commentary in the entire show. They loved you. We're going to keep you there. Keep doing your thing."
I normally would disagree because I would like to think that they have a grander plan, but when Michael Cole said he's going to be joined by many guests throughout the show, it does kind of lead me to think that their intentions were to have multiple commentators, and you're probably right. The fans just instantly gravitated to Triple H being on screen, and maybe they threw an audible, and if they did, an incredible audible.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. So we kicked off the show officially with Bayley and Sasha Banks coming out. The heels, I think, had a great time jarring the non-existent fans. I think those guys probably had the most fun. Anybody who was playing heel tonight, man, I think had a great time. They came out pretty much cutting standard heel promos, nothing really to jump into, but they did address where's Paige, asking Triple H and Michael Cole, and Triple H just chimed in she has travel issues. So Paige is not going to be here tonight. I think they're saving her for a live crowd. That's kind of my initial take on this.
From what I saw online, she had legit like travel issues, and she was supposed to be at the show.
Okay.
The one thing I did notice, and I noticed it throughout the evening when Triple H was on commentary and was interacting with wrestlers, like he was giving Elias shit, but he was praising Sami Zayn. He was playing along with Sami. He was playing along with Mojo, and he was agreeing with Bayley. It's like, yeah, where is Paige? Why do you always make excuses for Paige? Why do you always make excuses, Cole? So like Triple H just decided to like root for his favorites. He was the embodiment of Stan Twitter and the wrestling community, and he was just there to support his faves. And if he didn't like you, he wanted to give you a hard time. He was giving you a hard time. That's one thing I noticed, especially throughout this entire like Bayley interaction, especially once Alexa came in.
Yeah, man. And later on in the show too, he took full advantage of Vince not being there. And I'll get into those like at least one little bit during the Daniel Bryan match. But The match was fun to watch. Did you happen to catch the clip floating around shortly after the match went off? That they literally stood around and did nothing during commercials.
And here's the thing: if I'm them, I'm gonna sit there and not do anything. Why wait? Like, why hurt myself when there's no live crowd? Right? Yeah. Why risk an injury when there's nobody watching? Unfortunately, I guess nobody knew that they like some kind of international viewing. Like that's where the video was circulating from.
Throughout the commercial. Yeah.
Plays throughout the commercial. So that's where that was coming from. And Sean Ross Sapp tweeted it out. And I don't know if you saw this, but Alexa was pissed that Sean Ross Sapp tweeted that out. And he wasn't the only one. Like, if it wasn't Sean Ross Sapp, it would have been somebody else. And it wasn't a malicious thing, I don't think. I think it was just more of a, that's kind of funny.
We caught you, man. Yeah.
We caught you. It's funny. I'm like, come on. We're not sitting here to shit on nobody, but I feel like Alexa took it the wrong way.
Hey, I don't know. I didn't catch the tweet, but yeah, I could see why that might piss you off. It did kind of look silly. I think the same thing happened early in AEW's run.
Yes,
going on because Fight TV continues to air, and JR got caught once or twice. Just shooting from the hip, not realizing like, hey, we're still on television right now. But
overall, the match was really good. I thought it was good.
It was a standard tag match. Nikki Cross was a lot of fun in it. I did like, not throughout this match and the other matches, I love that everything is within full audio. I was like, tonight they better not be calling their spots because there's no way to hide it. Like, if they're calling their spots in the ring. But I really loved the audio and the ambience of the noise. It was just different. It was great. I loved actually hearing the referees. The referees had personality, like much more personality. But this match did end with a interfering Asuka coming out, attacking Alexa Bliss from behind while she was on the ramp, and Nikki ends up tapping out to the bank statement. This all but confirms the women's tag team title match between the Kabuki Warriors and then, of course, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross at some point, whether it's at WrestleMania or later on if WrestleMania is postponed or ultimately canceled. But it does look like that is the program that's being set up at the moment.
Yep. And it's good to see that. It's good to see that, like, the women's tag titles are being defended on another brand other than Raw, because sometimes people forget that you can't, if you're the tag champs, you can go to SmackDown or NXT or UK. So that was pretty cool. I liked it.
What'd you think of the Roman Reigns interview?
Oh, I thought it was great. I thought that's where Roman thrives, is when you give him a mic and let him be Joe, the person, and not be this character Roman Reigns, where like it feels like too much of the WWE brass feeding him lines. I feel like when you let him be himself, similar to the Usos and similar to so many other wrestlers, he's so relatable. And the whole premise of his promo was like, look, man, I respect Goldberg for what he did in this business. He was an icon. He put butts in the seats. That's all well and good, but he's a part-timer, and I'm about this current generation. I'm about like uplifting this generation. And look, man, he's like been saying what everybody's been saying online on Twitter. It's like, look, it's about this current generation. We should be having the titles. You shouldn't be having these titles anymore. And then, I'm sorry, bro, I'm gonna take you out. And I liked it. It was a nice, intimate setup that they had with Michael Cole, and I feel like you couldn't do this with a live crowd because they just shit all over it, regardless of what Roman had to say.
Yeah, no, completely agree. I do like they touched on Goldberg piping up his spear, and Roman's like, look, man, I've got a full arsenal, like from working, night in and night out. I'm not relying on one move, and I liked it, man. I really liked it.
I kind of hope that at the match, whenever they have it, is they play out that story beat where like Goldberg goes for the spear, it's not effective, or he misses it, or he can't hit it, and he's just like, well, what did I do now?
Yeah,
and then Roman out wrestles. Like, think of that. That's so baffling. Roman out wrestling somebody. That's just amazing. I want to see that.
Dances circles around Goldberg. Yeah, man.
Oh, Marco stunk. Dance circles around Goldberg.
Only catch Rob hearing that, man. Sami Zayn gets a backstage interview, but he is bumped for the returning Jeff Hardy, man. So yes, Zayn for one looks great with the title. Two, Snivy heel. His character is gonna come up several times throughout the whole episode. But Jeff Hardy's returned officially. Wow, after such a long layoff, man. You know, you make your in-ring return to an empty house. How surreal do you think that would be? That's just like ticking a box in your long career. Like, who would have thought I'm going to return after almost a year of this knee injury? I'm going to make my big return to a crowd of zero.
It was kind of surreal, but at the same time, it's like Jeff's a consummate professional. I'm pretty sure he's like, yo, man, this is going to be pretty cool. I'm pretty sure he saw that whole situation. It's like, this is going to be a pretty cool moment. This is going to be a cool setup.
Yeah.
I dug it.
I don't think anybody probably had an issue. Like, who was there tonight? Unless it was like they wanted to be with family and that was bumming them out. But I think anybody that was there tonight allowing themselves to have fun, I bet they had a blast. I bet it was like a breath of fresh air for them. But Jeff Hardy is interrupted with his interview by Baron Corbin, who mocks him, pretty much says that later on in the night, Jeff Hardy is going to end up doing a sobriety test, just joking on his legal troubles that he's had throughout history. So Jeff sets up his match with Corbin later on. Elias comes out, tries to play a song, but Corbin doesn't have time for that. He walks off. Elias drops the brooding line. He doesn't know what he has coming. So I was thinking, all right, so the feud that we have going forward is going to be an Elias and Corbin feud, and this is just to get Jeff Hardy a match coming back. Which, yeah, we can see kind of is what's set up later in the evening. All right, so time for probably the happiest point for me, other than the closing segment. They're getting behind Gulak. They're gonna give Gulak a shot. They're gonna give this guy a rub. Daniel Bryan backstage confronts Gulak. Gulak obviously not enthusiastic to be talking to Bryan after his loss. Bryan continues to put him over. You know, you said I had holes in my game. I didn't believe you. We had a match. You countered everything. You took me to the limit. So is that offer for you to help me, does it still stand? And before Gulak can answer him, they're interrupted by the trio of Zayn, Cesaro, and Nakamura. Wow, poor Nakamura, man. I can't even remember he's part of this damn trio. That is how far this dude has fallen from grace.
Let me ask you a question, and I asked this on Twitter because it was baffling to me. Within kayfabe, within the storyline of WWE, why on earth would Nakamura be okay with Sami Zayn walking around being Intercontinental Champion instead of him?
It's a good question.
I
would probably put it as either A, he truly believes in Zayn being good for their careers, and he's going to elevate them whether they have the title or not, or B, he's playing the long game and he'll take his opportunity when it arises, either taking Zayn out, turning on him, or just seizing it. It's hard to say. I think within Nakamura's character, there's no ill will. I think he's above that title. I think his character is just, hey, I'm here for a paycheck at this point in like where I'm at.
I think in real, outside of kayfabe, I think that's legit Nakamura's entire mentality. Is
nothing about his character says he wants to be champ. Like he hasn't called.
I would love to see him in a top title program after Mania. You know, they slowly build him up. Maybe this is a way to get him into the top title picture, especially when Roman gets that Universal title down after WrestleMania.
I don't know, man. I think the damage is done.
No, I don't think so. I think anybody can sell. I think everybody can be salvaged. Just look at Bray Wyatt. We were saying this about Bray Wyatt last year. Can they bring back Bray Wyatt? And he
Wyatt is a character actor, though. You know what I mean? He refreshed his whole character from the floor up. Nakamura has been pretty much the same fella from New Japan all the way here. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. I didn't watch much of New Japan, but the clips I have seem like the Nakamura that we have here, just less
for the most
deadly.
part. Basically, this is a watered down version of New Japan Nakamura. But look, man, I'm a huge believer in anybody can turn it around and just make something out of their careers and do something better. And sometimes I'm wrong, but usually I like to give the benefit of the doubt to the performers. And I know, like I seen Bradshaw go from a beer drinker, like a hitman guy, to like loudmouth redneck millionaire. So I've seen it all, man. I've seen it all.
Like tycoon, like Wall Street tycoon.
Exactly.
I don't know.
So anything is possible.
Maybe
WWE.
maybe you can ride the fairy tale, but Nakamura's done. All right, he's done with breaking the glass ceiling. He is mid-Carter for life. Just throwing it out there, man. I'm sorry. I hate to crush your dreams, Vince, on the show, but
no dreams are being crushed, man. I believe in what I believe, and I'm sure 95% of the universe does too.
Oh man. Bryan, annoyed with Zayn mocking him for refusing to team up with Zayn's crew, now says essentially, look at me and look at you where we are. I am your current Intercontinental Champion. You're a shell of your former self, trying to get help from a nobody. At this point, Bryan wants to fight Zayn, but Cesaro steps in and interjects. The match is set up between Bryan and Cesaro. And I like Gulak's little touch. He's like, nobody? He's like, okay, we'll see. And I like that Gulak is not backing down and not that he's got a little bit of edge. That's what I like about people, man. Give them an edge, man. Make them pissed off. It just, people resonate with people who are fucking fed up, man. We do get a chunk of the show is taken up by a replay of the tag title chamber match from Elimination Chamber. So they did fill some airtime with that. But upon the replay finishing, we get Miz and Morrison in the ring. They're joking. They're hyping up their B movies. This is the only time they could, like, they literally just start listing off all their B movies. And like, these are the greatest achievements in cinema. And if you disagree, please feel free to speak up to the empty audience. So I do love that they were kind of insulting each other under their breath, though. Like, I do like that. I thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
But some cheesy stuff, man. These guys are having fun. Like I said, the heels probably had a blast tonight. With not having to deal with what chants, without crowds like just not playing along correctly. They were just able to have fun and let loose, man. But did you catch Triple H his comments during Daniel Bryan's entrance?
Which one were they again?
God, what was that? He said, because Daniel Bryan was coming out, Triple H started to talk over the announcer, and Michael Cole cut him off.
Oh,
and was
yes,
like,
yes.
He's like, sorry, I didn't go to announcer school.
Yeah.
God dang, what was he saying, though? He said something really good. God, dude, what was it?
I don't remember. I don't remember exactly what it was. I know it was something good. Triple H was hitting a lot of zingers tonight.
It was something because Vince wasn't there. Like, you knew he said something. It had completely to do with Vince not being present. I think I'm pulling up the soundbite right now. If I remember to save it. Oh, I did not. Damn it! I didn't save the soundbite.
It's all good, man.
It's all good.
If you guys remember what he said, leave it in the comment section below or tweet it at the Kai Tai Show so he can get that out of his.
Whenever I'm in the damn spot, man, I always damn forget.
Yeah, it's all good.
But anyways, yeah, Bryan and Drew come out for their match. I like Drew was urging Bryan to do the yes chant, even though there was no people to do it with him. It was nice, man. It was charming. Bryan ends up doing it with him. And then before the match can begin, there's so many times I really wish I could have been in attendance just to see how this show flowed between camera cuts and all of the other stuff that happened. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall in the production meeting and just being there. But before the match officially got underway, we cut to commercial. We come back, And Michael Cole and Triple H are joined by Mojo Rawley, who has announced that Gronk is going to sign with the WWE, but he is not officially signed yet, technically. But to be a superstar, Mojo gets hype, Triple H gets hype, and they just ragdoll Cole on the commentary set, man.
That was great.
My God. Oh, it was wonderful, man. How? What'd you think of the match, though, that we eventually got between Bryan and...
I wish it would have gotten a little bit more time. I know what they were trying to do. They weren't trying to have like only 3 matches or with like an empty crowd. They want to give a different feel and throw in a match with people in it, like the replay. That's what it was for. But I was kind of hoping that maybe they would give a little bit more time. What it was given, it was still really good. They put on some really good moves. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I don't think it was the show stealer 5-star type of match that they could have had if they were given like a good proper 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah. I agree with you. I don't think any match tonight was supposed to be like a 5-star match. I feel like they were just trying to go out there and just progress the story, be entertaining. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Part of those intense 5-star matches is the crowd. The crowd plays into great matches because you feed off of the noise that they're making. You know what I mean? So that's already an uphill battle right there. Mm-hmm. But
for sure, I get it.
Yeah, Bryan ends up beating Cesaro with a small package. Shinsuke comes in, starts beating him down. Drew Gulak comes to his aid, taking them on, but Sami Zayn eventually gets involved. All 3 of them take out Drew, throwing him into the stairs. Bryan finally gets up and breaks things up, doing a dive to the outside. Fair stuff. Really, like I said, my favorite whole part of this is the story with Drew Gulak is going forward. And man, I'm like I said, I'm stoked.
What do you think the story is going to be long term? A tag team with Daniel Bryan, a mentorship with Daniel Bryan, or like an eventual turn on Daniel Bryan? Like where is this going?
Well, the turn always is always how these things end up. Mm-hmm. With guys who are non-tag team wrestlers by default. I think it's going to be a tag team. I think they're going to serve both. I think Drew will be there for Bryan's singles matches, but they're going to be more of a tag team. I think that's what the chemistry is going to play off of. Okay. I don't know if this is leading towards any belts other than, say, the tag team championships. Because if we've seen anything, man, Bryan does make one hell of a tag team champion.
He's great. He, like, you go back in history, like, just with like Team Hell No, and even like when he was the Planet's tag team champions with Erick Rowan.
Look who he elevated. Erick Rowan. Like, that's probably like the peak of Rowan's career. Wasn't in the Wyatt family. It was flanking Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for that tag team run with Daniel Bryan, he wouldn't have been made into that singles monster. They got a win over Roman Reigns on pay-per-view. People forget that. Like,
that's true.
The minute he goes to Raw, he gets like demoted back to his standard like role of like klutz big man.
Oh, but my God, I forgot all about that.
A tandem with Drew Gulak and Daniel Bryan going forward, I'm so invested in. I'm curious to see where this goes into WrestleMania. Are we going to get a Sami Zayn Daniel Bryan match for the IC title, or will this be like a ladder match with all 5 members, including, and you throw in the Braun Strowman? I don't. Right now, WrestleMania is so wide open, and you don't know what's going to happen. Honestly, what I'd like to see going forward is WWE just kind of like set the match card, build to that match card, and whether WrestleMania gets postponed or not, we know what we're getting.
Yeah, I'll get into that. I do want to talk some WrestleMania and current ongoings after the recap portion of the show. Just, you know what I mean? Just kind of because like it is something that we're kind of just trying to like ignore and overlook, but some of the stuff is worth addressing and having some fun talking about.
For sure, definitely.
So after the match, we get the match between Hardy and Corbin. Nothing really to write home about here. Jeff Hardy does pin Corbin with a Swanton Bomb in a very short match with an assist from Elias, who's playing guitar and commentary. Corbin, before the match starts, tries to get the early jump on Hardy. And then during the match, Elias plays his part because he's, like I said, he's on commentary and he just gets up and plays his guitar.
Right.
I swear, like, people in professional wrestling have the worst attention spans out of any profession in the world, man. But yeah, what'd you think of the Twist of Fury being the name of Jeff Hardy's new signature, not finisher?
So I wasn't actually looking. I was actually looking down on my phone when he hit it. Was it the actual like Twist of Fate, or was it?
No, it's a new version. So you have the Twist of Fate, which is the twisting cutter. Then Jeff Hardy had his own Twist of Fate, which was a twisting stunner. He was doing that most recently. Now the Twist of Fury is the twisting neckbreaker. So he goes from the Twist of Fate, but when he goes into the cutter, somehow it rotates the opponent and they go over for a neckbreaker. It's a neckbreaker is all it is. But I think people were up in arms just by the name alone. Twitter reacted pretty strongly.
Did it kind of look like a reverse?
It just looked like an accentuated floating over like neckbreaker.
Okay, because he used to in Impact Wrestling / TNA, he used to do like a reverse Twist of Fate, which he used to call the Twist of Hate when he was a heel. So I had to go back and look at it. But honestly, man, like, why not reinvent some new stuff? I mean, if Chris Jericho can go out here and just do a backhand elbow and make it a finisher, why can't Jeff Hardy make a new like signature? I'm all for reinvention. Like, create a new arsenal, bring some new stuff to the table. I'm with it, man. I'm cool with it. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like I would say, I was like, oh, cool. So they're doing something different. And then,
why not?
Of course, I hop on Twitter. And like anything else, what do you expect though when you hop on Twitter? Do you expect people just to be in unanimous like admiration? Like, probably not. You know, unfortunately, I love Twitter, man. But boy, chances are they're not going to like something before they like it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I get you.
Yeah. Going forward, we finally closed the night off with the returning John Cena, although he returned 2 weeks ago. But he has an in-ring interview with Michael Cole. I do like some of the stuff they brought up here, but really the highlight of this stuff was the closing of the whole thing. Michael Cole addresses that Bray Wyatt has gone on record saying that his loss to Cena at WrestleMania, I think like 6 years ago, was the spark of his downward spiral. Cena addressed it pretty cleverly, pretty much saying that Cena's lost his fair share of big matches. He runs through several of them, losing to RVD, losing to Miz at Mania, amongst a couple other ones. It says that
no one mentioned getting buried by the Undertaker and having to buy a ticket and getting buried by the Undertaker.
Yeah, exactly. Buying a ticket to WrestleMania and getting buried in 5 minutes. But he said that no one ever believed that he was buried because they knew Cena's Cena. And I was like, okay, Cena, I see where you're going here. I mean, Cena's never going to take accountability for something like that. That's not his character. Anyways, he says that his whole match with Bray Wyatt is to get Bray Wyatt out of the way. Bray Wyatt's not the future either. Bray Wyatt's somebody who's gotten 6 or 7 chances to be the guy. So he says his whole intention is to go to WrestleMania to have like a violent match, like to not your standard wrestling match, but he said it's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be violent, it's going to be brutal. His overall intentions, I guess, is to retire Bray Wyatt.
I'm with it.
I
love it.
Yeah, man.
It had an element of realism to it because it felt like raw. Like I'm pretty sure this isn't his real like feelings towards Bray. But if you didn't knew that, like it felt like, man, I do not like this guy. He keeps asking for like chance after chance after chance. I'm sick of these people blaming me for their careers being crap. Like, look at guys like Drew McIntyre that got released, came back, reinvented himself, and hustle out here. He mentioned guys like Ciampa, and it's like he sees like these are the future. I want the future to advance, but no, Bray, you're not the future. And like I'm sick of people blaming me for burying them when people like I take big losses and nobody says I'm being buried. I love the whole aspect of it. It felt like very personal to John. Like he took that personally, being accused one too many times of burying someone. Yeah.
No, it made sense. It made perfect sense why for his motivation here in this match. And I absolutely agree. I did like they name dropped names like McIntyre and Riddle. But the main thing here was during the interview, Bray Wyatt, we hear him on the mic. They look around for him. He's sitting front row by the commentary table. Dude, the second Michael Cole caught whiff of Bray Wyatt, he was out.
Yeah, he's smart. He was smart.
He dipped, man. Wyatt cut a very impassioned promo. It's going to be hard for me to convey it, but essentially, Wyatt's whole thing was that Wyatt's not the sick one. Cena is. So Cena doesn't really care about the future. He's craving the spotlight, which we've heard stuff like this in the past. But once again, there's a layer of realism here. You know what I mean? Cena doesn't strike me as the type of guy who's going to be called in to try and clear out this old roster to make room for future stars. Like, no, Cena's a main attraction. You know what I mean? Rock's not going to come in to take a side role, you know, when he has the airtime. No, Rock's going to come in and hog the spotlight and be the star while he's on the airwaves. And that's Cena's role too. So both guys make very good points. Bray Wyatt's cadence and his delivery, so creepy, and it was only elevated by the silence in the arena. Like, you could feel it, man. It was chilling. The tension was there. I fucking loved it, man. It was wonderful. And still, no physical altercation between the guys.
As it should. Just, like, leave it to, like, maybe the go-home show or, like, the day of WrestleMania. Sometimes you don't need that. Sometimes you want them to brawl so bad that when you don't get it, the anticipation for the match itself is even higher.
Yeah, it's it's a wonderful thing, man. And but that's how SmackDown closed, man. Very quick, short, and sweet episode. Was a bunch of fun. It's hard to say if you skip the episode, what should you go back and watch? I would say probably watch the Michael Cole John Cena interview. That was probably a highlight. And then try to skim through it and look at all the Triple H stuff. Him with the camera recording Michael Cole at commentary, him touching up Michael Cole's makeup and trying to put a Sharpie marker in Michael Cole's soul patch.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, so honestly, I'd agree with you. I'd say, honestly, go back and watch the entire episode just for the entirety of Triple H's commentary. Skip the recap of the Chamber match, obviously, but the entire show from top to bottom, minus the Elimination Chamber recap, was pretty good. Yeah, I liked the entire episode.
Yeah, when you factor in commercials and that recap, it's probably bite-sized. It's probably less than an hour.
Yeah, go watch the Hulu version. You're right. They might actually cut out the Chamber match and you just get the entirety of the show. There you go. So watch the Hulu version tomorrow at Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, man. So you think this is the ongoing format for Raw and SmackDown for the foreseeable future?
At least Raw. It's going to be interesting to see what they do for Raw, given that they have another whole hour to fill. I doubt they'll do an entire recap of the Chamber. I wouldn't be surprised if they recap the women's Chamber match on Raw just like they did on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't. But then again, it's 3 hours. You know,
you can't blame them. 3 hours, man.
You will have Stone Cold, so that's something. That's going to be different.
Raising hell in an empty arena.
And I kind of want to see like a Mankind, Mankind versus Rock, empty arena brawl where they go into the seats that were set up at the PC, something like that. I'm interested to see what Raw does, just because of what we saw on SmackDown, especially if we get a little bit more loose. Because that's one thing that I did like about today's episode. Even the backstage stuff, like the backstage interviews, that felt a little bit more loose and free, kind of and just allowed the wrestlers to just go and play off of each other, and not just so constricted by the entire promotion, the entire production team,
Yeah. WrestleMania. Is it a go? Is it canceled? Is it postponed?
It's not getting canceled. It's that for sure is not happening. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna play it by ear. They're gonna play it week by week. If anything, they might postpone it. What I was saying this to my sister earlier in the week. If I was WWE, I use the PC to run your shows. Continue to build the card. Just get your card filled up, and then it might actually do wrestling good if you take like a 1 month hiatus, and then you have this big return at WrestleMania. So like, let's say they do like the next two more weeks of like WWE TV. They build up to Tampa, take over Tampa, and they build up to WrestleMania, but they aren't able to hold the shows, postpone the shows. Don't even do any more storyline building. Just build everything you can. Focus on building up the card. Once you have the match set, just kind of like when you build up an indie show, or you build up in like any other kind of show when AEW didn't have their weekly television. Just get your card set. Once you get the card set, you can do like social media stuff to help like get more heat behind it. And if you need to, just postpone it for like a couple weeks. And when everything's good to go ahead and have WrestleMania in Tampa again. I think that's what I would do if I'm them. I use the PC for the next 2 weeks, or as long as you're physically able to, and just postpone wrestling for a bit. I know it's gonna be weird, but you can postpone it.
Wrestling can have an off season. They can have an off season.
Sure. It's something that we've never seen before. We've never seen wrestling have an off season, and it might do wonders. It might do wonders.
But WWE would have to. Well, they wouldn't give up the title, but it would break their streak of the longest running episodic television show in history. It would break the streak. They would have an off season. It wouldn't. But I mean, I don't think that they would let that stop them. But that's just one of the funny things that would happen. Their run would finally be over. We'd be able to tally how long it actually was.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, they could always just do like some kind of recap show.
Recap shows just to keep
and
they
still count it. They can still count it. Yeah. Or I don't know. It's gonna be weird, but they can't do this for more than a month. No. Like if they could probably get away with like maybe 2 more Smackdowns of this, and then that's about it.
They could probably get away with letting a smaller audience in there.
Yeah, if they let a small audience in like they did in NXT on Wednesday, mm-hmm. I think they can do that.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: they could probably hold Takeover inside the Performance Center, and Takeover would be fine. Mm-hmm. WrestleMania is the one where you can't have WrestleMania inside that kind of venue.
You need at least like MSG.
You need a big venue. You need a big venue.
Yeah. Shoot, I think right now they're like 8 or 9 years running in stadiums, mm-hmm. In a row.
I think the last show that wasn't in the stadium was the one in Chicago, actually.
Man, yeah, WrestleMania is getting postponed though. That's what I would want. Like, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not going with what I want. I'm just trying to just play predictions. This is beyond me to book. Mm-hmm. I just think, given the landscape, given what's happened in the last 24 hours, 48 hours,
mm-hmm.
NHL down, NBA down, XFL down, hockey. MLB down, NHL, soccer,
everything,
all
NCAA
sporting events.
Everything is canceled.
Sporting events that draw smaller crowds than what WrestleMania is going to draw. Not even a quarter of the size. Not even a quarter. They're all down. Mm-hmm. WrestleMania is going to air. WrestleMania, 60,000+, 70,000+. No, right. Man, it ain't happening. It ain't, man. Shit, it ain't gonna happen. But yeah, I like your idea. Fucking build a month, take a month off, keep your shit going social media,
mm-hmm.
and work out the travel issues.
If you need to do what like AEW did, where they did like the road to like Revolution, where it was like a 1 hour recap show, and there was no wrestling. It was just like some like in-depth interviews, some candid stuff like that.
Yeah.
Similar to what they were doing in like the snowstorm Monday Night Raw after the Rumble, when it was like Roman and Brock leading up into WrestleMania 31. They can do something like that if they need an extra week or 2.
Yeah. Yeah, they could. I could see that. We'll see, though. The logistics blow my mind, though. The logistics blow my mind of how you would postpone. Like, the idea, like, the logistics of just putting on WrestleMania blow my mind. But then to coordinate all those people that are in charge of running it, to cancel their existing plans so close to it, and then just reschedule everybody. That blows my mind how that could even be done. Like, I can't wrap my head around it.
And it has to be, man, because look, man, I'm sorry. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I've been to way too many WWE shows, way too many indie shows. The demographic in wrestling fans, for a good portion of them, do not have the best hygiene. And I swear I'll go in there and it smells like ass and BO. Benji can vouch for this. All my friends can vouch for this. If you've been to an indie show, you know for a fact there's a lot of like demographic over there. They don't have good hygiene, and with this kind of virus, that's the last thing we need. I'm sorry. If there's any show, any event that needs to be postponed, it's a wrestling show. I wasn't gonna go to Jay's show today. I'm like, look, man, I'm sorry. I hope you like win those titles or whatever it is that you're gonna do. I'm not going to that, man. I'm not gonna risk it. Like, look, man, I'm sorry. Some wrestling fans just have terrible hygiene, bro.
Oh shit! Yeah,
I'm not shitting on everybody, because like there is a good portion of them that do know like how to wash their hands, how to put on some deodorant and wipe their own ass. But man, there's a good portion out there, specifically the people that like to think that they're like the smartest people in wrestling and know how to run the show, are probably the ones that smell like ass.
Yeah, I was actually, when I went to Smackdown, that episode that Roman had the dog food dumped on him, I was looking for those guys, and me and my wife were fortunate enough that the people around us, like, I assume bathed, couldn't smell them, which is, something that I was definitely checking for, because I was like, God dang it, man, please don't. I'm trying to have a good time with my wife. But yeah, man, we'll have to see, man. This shit, dude, if you're out there listening, man, I'm sure everyone's telling you, and we'll just echo it, man. Just wash your hands. Don't panic. Stop going to the grocery store buying all the damn toilet paper.
Yeah,
all right,
just
man.
like
Just don't panic. Just wash your hands and maybe just chill out from large stuff for a couple days. Just don't listen to what's on the TV and all this garbage, man. It's
honestly, if I want to go, I was more calmed and like set at ease by Adam Silver's inside the NBA TNT like press conference that he had, where he was addressing the whole NBA situation, because it sounded like he that's what you need in situations like this. You need a leader to sit there and calm like the nation and calm everybody down. It's like, look, this is the plan. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna right the ship. We're gonna get through this together. Kind of like what you do, Kyle. Sometimes you come in, I'm like, hey guys, this is the plan. This is how the show is going to go. We're going to get through this. We're going to get it done. It's going to be the best show ever. And we need a Kyle to help us, man. That's what we need. We need a Kyle to calm everybody down. That's what we need right now.
I appreciate that, man.
No problem, man.
I'm not going to get in here and get all political and act like I know about what viruses are deadly and what aren't. I don't know. What I do know is stuff can be overhyped. Just take care of your hygiene. Just take care of your hygiene and maybe do some fist bumps, every now and then. Don't do the elbow tap. That's stupid. You cough in your elbow. You're just spreading germs with the elbow. Do a fist bump.
Yeah.
All right, do a fist bump or a courtesy
I would also
wave.
say don't lean too far in the other direction and be like Rudy Gobert and be like careless about stuff, It's not about just contracting the disease, but it's who you can go ahead and get infected. And it's like, you just got to be careful. You never know, man. You never know.
You might have a good immune system, man, but look out for grandma. All right, look out for grandma.
Exactly.
But anyways, guys, I think you and I fluffed up an extra 12 minutes there, so that's good.
Perfect.
That's our show. Vince, you said you wanted to plug a friend of yours. Give him a shout out.
Oh yeah. Okay. So follow him on Twitter at Urban Aztec. If you guys haven't seen, he drops these really cool WWE shirts. They're available at footaction.com. I just got my Sasha Banks one in the mail. Look at it. Looks dope as fuck. They
Pushing
have
this knockoff merch.
no, it's actually authentic WWE stuff. It has the sticker and everything. But so
Oh,
it's a
so-
collaboration with WWE and the artist, and it's exclusive to Foot Action. They have an Eddie Guerrero one, 2 Rey Mysterio ones, Ultimate Warrior, can't damn it, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bret Hart, Natalia, Undertaker one is dropping soon. They're very cool shirts. Go ahead and pick them up while you can. Urban Aztec at footaction.com. That's where you can get them.
Nice. And I'll have Vince go ahead and drop the link in the description of the show. Like always, you guys, tune into our NXT AEW recaps. The shows might be taking a new format like what we're watching on TV, but trust me, we're going to push through it. We're going to keep covering it, man. You know, because we're addicted for those clicks. Like, subscribe, download, leave a comment, star review, whatever it is, man. All joking aside, though, of course, thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time, y'all have a good one.
Be safe, everyone.